Hey everyone! So today I will be showing you how to make a handleless teacup using the pinch pot technique. Before you start, there are a few things you will need. A sponge, a metal rib tool, a wooden thumb tool, a needle tool, a wire tool, and a cup of water. You'll also need a porous surface to work on, such as a wooden board, cardboard, or newspaper. You'll also need your clay. Grab your wire tool and cut off a small amount of clay. Roll it up into a sphere. Your clay should fit comfortably into the palm of your hand and should be slightly smaller, about 25% smaller, than your intended final product. If you have excess, cut it off and put it directly back into your bag of clay to prevent it from drying out. Once you have your clay in a spherical shape, poke a hole into the center with your thumb. Now go ahead and pinch the walls of your form as you rotate your clay. You'll notice the walls getting thinner and starting to take shape. As you thin out the walls, don't forget to thin out the base of your vessel as well. Your vessel should have the same thickness throughout. Anything thicker than 1/4 of an inch is too thick, and anything thinner than 1/8 of an inch is too thin. Also, don't forget to thin out the corners of your vessel. By placing your thumb on the inside of the form and your index finger on the outside of the form, you can gauge how thick the base, walls, and corners are and adjust accordingly. Sometimes you may have noticed your form may have widened far more than you had planned. To fix this, simply overlap and pinch your clay at the lip of your vessel. This is similar to creating darts when sewing to provide shape to clothing. If your form is too narrow, to smooth the inside of your form with your thumb, use the wooden thumb tool. The rounded side of the wooden thumb tool mirrors a thumb and is useful to alter sections that are hard to reach. Another section to keep in mind is the lip of your vessel. It is essential to have the lip be smooth and clean of imperfections because it is the portion of the vessel that comes into direct contact with our lips. Use a needle tool to mark an even line around the perimeter of the vessel, then cut away the excess. By flipping the form over and gently tapping the lip of your work onto your work surface, you will further ensure the lip does not have too many bumps or uneven ridges. Keep checking the walls of your vessel to ensure they are even. Then use the metal rib tool to smooth out the surface. The metal rib tool has a rounded side and a straight side. For this, you will be using the rounded side. Place your thumb on one side of the tool and your forefingers on the opposite side. By pressing your fingers inward, you will create a rounded scoop-like shape, which will help smooth the surface without altering the shape of your vessel. When smoothing out your form, place your other hand on the opposite side of the clay wall as support to prevent the rib tool from collapsing your clay inward or outward as you press against the clay surface. Use the narrow side of your metal rib tool to clean up the inside. If your vessel is too small to fit your metal rib tool into, use your wooden thumb tool instead. If your metal rib tool thins out the walls too much, make further adjustments by pinching your clay together. If you see cracks or creases forming at the lip, use your wooden thumb tool to smooth them shut. If the lip is getting uneven yet again, use the needle tool to even it out. Next, dip your sponge in some water. Squeeze out the excess and wipe away any dents, cracks, or imperfections. If you plan on adding a foot to your vessel, you'll want to wait for it to become leather hard first. You'll know your form is leather hard when you attempt to bend it out of shape, but it no longer moves. Keep checking on your vessel every 15 to 20 minutes until it is leather hard, then flip it over and get started on attaching the foot. You'll need some more clay for this, as well as some slip and a paintbrush. Roll out your piece of clay into a coil or a thin, long cylindrical shape. Measure to see if the length is long enough to form the circumference of the foot. Also, make sure the thickness of the foot mirrors closely to the thickness of your walls, not exceeding 1/4 of an inch, but no thinner than 1/8 of an inch. Once your coil is made, score the bottom of your form where you plan to attach your coil by creating crosshatch marks with your needle tool. Score one side of your coil as well. Use your brush to apply a generous amount of slip to the score marks on your vessel, then place your coil onto the slip, score side to score side. Ensure your foot is properly attached by using your thumb tool to press the edges of your coil into the body of your vessel. Use the angled side of the thumb tool to further shape the foot, then use a damp sponge to smooth and clean the surface. Last but not least, always clean up after yourself. This includes wiping down tools in your work surface and storing away your project, tools, and clay in a designated area.